feel like I'm most known for like my editorial, fun, abstract kind of makeup looks that I do on here. But today I wanted to do a Bridgerton style tutorial, a Bridgerton style makeup look, because some days you don't want abstract and crazy. You want something subtle and natural. So let's do that today. I want to bring back tutorials. I like watching tutorials still. Where I got my start in makeup was watching tutorials. So let's do a tutorial. We're gonna start with primer. For me, I have very dry skin. I have eczema on my face, so I like to use 2 primers. One is mostly just skincare. It's this one from Daphne. This is the Yummy Skin Glow Serum. I'm using the shade Juice Boost. It's a pretty deep shade, but honestly, these all kind of blend out to not have much pigment. I got this one from attending a class with her. And I'm going to start with this. It smells divine and it feels so good on the skin. It really is just skincare with a bit of shimmer. Voila. It just makes my face feel fresh and hydrated and prepped well. And then for this like Bridgerton flawless like TV makeup kind of look, I'm also going to use this from Milani. This is the Conceal and Perfect Blurring Primer. This reminds me a lot of the Icy Sherbet Primer from Touch in Sol, which I loved. To take a little bit of that, and we're only gonna put this in the areas where I have some pore issues, which is kind of my T-zone. Okay, and then we're just gonna kind of blend that in. While this is a like smoothing, blurring primer, it is not, it's not mattifying, and I do find it hydrating. So even though I have really dry skin, this is a kind of smoothing primer, pore filling primer that I can use. The name of the game for this is a light hand. You want to accentuate the natural skin. So I'm gonna go in with this foundation that has a little bit of skincare. This is from Polite Society. This is More Than a Pretty Face skincare foundation, and put 1 pump on a pump and a half on the back of my hand. For me to keep the coverage light, but if you prefer more fuller coverage, please add more. I like to take a little bit and start to kind of pre-blend it with my finger. That way I'm not using an excessive amount of product, just by like dotting it all over. So I'll use about this much, and then I'll take my sponge and I'll just blend that in. If you know you need coverage in specific areas, I would start the little circle that I make there, because by the time you go in with the sponge, it will have dried a little bit in those areas to give you a bit more coverage there. And there you go. It is super quick to blend out because we already have like pre-blended it. This might be a controversial take. I don't like doing my concealer after I do my bronzer and blush. I think it just takes away from the beauty of the bronzer and blush. So we're gonna go in with concealer first. I'm gonna use this one from Estee Lauder. This is the Double Wear Concealer. This is quite full coverage, so we're not gonna use a lot. We're gonna kind of dot it and use it as we need. So we're just gonna put a little bit kind of below. We don't wanna go right up into this area over here because then it will pack up and cake up. We kind of wanna blend it upward, not put it all there and blend out. Going with that beauty sponge. I like using a beauty sponge just because it takes away some of the coverage again, so it feels light and skin forward. And I always do the T-zone area first, just because I'll give the concealer a bit more time underneath my eyes to set a little bit, so we have a slightly more coverage. Okay, then with this little dot, we're just gonna blend it down and across, and then slowly blend it up. Katie Jane Hughes showed me this technique, and I think it just makes the eyes look super fresh. There's not much product under them, and there doesn't need to be that much product. If you need more, you can go in with more. Because you don't have like a bunch of product caked up underneath the eye, it just looks much lighter and it looks more natural and lasts longer. I also use concealer to set my eyes still. I don't use an eyeshadow primer. I'm gonna add just a tiny little dot more over here because my dark circle on my right side, for some reason, crazier than the left side. So I'm just gonna put one right there. I'm gonna let that sit for a little bit and then we'll blend it out. Okay, so this is what we're looking at for our foundation and concealer. Very light, very natural, very skin focused. Again, if you want more coverage, don't listen to me and put more coverage on. For bronzer, I'm gonna use a minimal amount of a neutral bronzer. I like neutral because it kind of can work as both a little bit of a contour and a bronzer. So I'm using Mojave from Persona Cosmetics. This is my favorite bronzer. I've gone through a lot of it. And we're gonna take it on a stippling brush. And we're gonna just pick up a little bit onto the bristles. And then we're gonna take this onto the back of our hand and just kind of prime the brush. Then, with a light hand, we're gonna start building out this bronzer. In Bridgerton, you don't see much bronzer at all, but I know it exists there because they do still have shape to their face. So that's why we're doing this method where we kind of like take some out on the back of our hand and then go in, because it's going to stop us from over applying the bronzer, making the bronzer intentional and just giving us like a peak of bronzer. And the stipple allows us to really blend it into the skin. Whatever excess we have, we're gonna kind of just run around the nose to give it a little dimension. I don't subscribe to like carving out my nose, but I do like to not be completely devoid of color. So this is all we're doing for bronzer. It's very light. I feel like you kind of don't super notice it. It's just a slight shadow that we're building on, because the focus of the makeup really for Bridgerton are the lips and the cheeks, with like a fresh cheek. So I'm using from Persona Cosmetics this shade Georgia. It's this like peachy shade. We're gonna do the same thing. I'm just gonna make sure that everything is off this brush, and then we're gonna do the same method as the last time. We're gonna go in like this, tap some of it off, prime the brush, and then go in. And it's a very much like apples of your cheeks situation. A little light flush. Oh, Anthony Bridgerton. I do like to focus the color kind of down here. I feel like it's a very of the time period. When you do restoration theater, a lot of the makeup is right there. It's just of the time period to have a more like apples of the cheek blush situation. I feel like I went slightly heavy-handed on this side, so I'm just gonna take where our concealer from that and just very lightly tap over the top to pick up some of that color. Okay, they don't do highlighter in Bridgerton. I'm gonna do just a little bit. This is from KJH brand. This is the light pink highlighter. Just the littlest, tiniest dab on my finger. I'm even gonna take a little bit off on the back of my hand. And then just right here. I can't not. I live for highlighter. And then we're going to set it. Because we went so light-handed when we did our concealer, there is minimal creasing happening on the eyes, but we are just going to, let me just pull some powder out. I'm just using any translucent powder. I'm just gonna take my pinky, warm up the concealer, blend it out, take my little brush here with some powder, and then I'm just going to set my forehead and my nose. I'm going to avoid whatever's like excess. I'm gonna slightly go over on my chin. This, my mouth, has become the driest part of my face, unfortunately, as I've aged. So I like to keep as little product on there as possible. Okay, now that we've set our face, we're going to set it with some spray. I'm just using this one I have from a company that I no longer support, so I'm not gonna say the name. Y'all see it, you see it. I'm just gonna use it. I don't support the brand, but I had it when they did the thing that pissed me off. So I'm not gonna throw it away, that's a waste. I actually can do a really good British Standard dialect. I got a degree in BFA Theatre Performance, fun fact about me, and BA Honors History at my university, and the class I excelled the most at was dialects. I'm just really good at picking them up. I even watched Dairy Girls just so I can potentially pick up how to do Irish better. It's not perfect, but it is better. For Bridgerton, the brows are not super big or feathery. So we're just gonna, with a the lightest hand known to man, fill in the brows a little bit. And then just brush it through. I'm just gonna use a brow gel. This is from Maybelline. This is the Super Lock brow gel. It's really good if you want really feathery brows. We're gonna tame it today. We're just gonna use the back side and very, very lightly place the brows. Wow, that feels so wrong. Those are the brows for Bridgerton. Now we're going to do minimal makeup. Just a little wash of color on the face, on the lids. I'm using this palette from Colourpop. Please use something similar if you have it. I'm really just going to use this Avitide shade right here and take a big fluffy brush, and we're kind of just going to throw this all over the eye. Into the crease it goes. Build it up little by little. Focus on the outer corner first. Less is more, girls. If we were doing the Featheringtons, quite a different story, but I'm thinking Daphne, I'm thinking Francesca, and I'm thinking Sophie. So you see, we just have a little bit, just a little bit, add a little bit of dimension. And then we're gonna take on that same big fluffy brush, just run it underneath the outer third here, just to give, again, dimension. That's what we're kind of seeking with this. I am gonna use a little bit of shimmer. There's this shade Sunset Chaser. It's essentially just like a champagne-y. I'm just gonna do a little just a little tap, tap, tap on the inner corner. Just a little tap, 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 tap. I'm gonna do lips before I do mascara because sometimes in Bridgerton they don't wear mascara. Daphne is not a mascara girly. I'm taking this lip liner from a brand I no longer support, but just do one that's kind of close to your natural lip shade. I'm gonna line it. And then I'm just gonna take this lip oil from a brand I also don't support anymore. Just to give us a little tiny gloss. This is how we would see a Bridgerton on the show. We have, again, let's go through. We got minimal eye makeup, natural brows, a little something on the lips. Sometimes they do go for like a bolder, more like berry toned lip. Depends on the family. We have a little bit of bronzer, we have a little bit of blush, a little bit of like flushness to our face. Nothing's too matte, feels very natural. Even that little tiny bit of highlighter that I added, and just a little something to the lips. Sometimes they do go crazier and heavier than this depending on the family that you're doing. Since I'm doing the Bridgertons, this would be the Bridgertons. I personally feel it is a crime not to add mascara to my eyes, though this doesn't look bad. If my foot wasn't broken, I would change into a dress and be like, Daphne Bridgerton. I would go out like this. Megan Tobias though, she wants a little mascara. And it would be a crime not to have lashes on me, so. This is a tubing mascara I absolutely adore. And I really only have the top lashes done, so I'll just do the top lashes. Okay, that's it, guys. We've gone through the entire season of Bridgerton, basically, because I've been going off of episode 1 Daphne to end of season Daphne. And this is the final look. This is just a quick little Bridgerton look, but this will also be an everyday makeup look, a no makeup look, a light makeup look. Even I think would be really good for the summer because it is gonna get hot and we don't have a lot of product on our face, but it's still just kind of like enhancing what's already there. Very different to see me without my normal brows, but it is really, I feel like I look like how I did in middle school, except did I wear mascara in middle school? Except I didn't wear mascara in middle school. Yeah, guys. All right, that completes this video. Thank you guys so much for watching another tutorial with me. I'm really into doing tutorials right now, so there might be another one coming at you. Thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.